Okay, is this thing on? Right, great, shifting gears. Hey y'all, hey vlog, hey bud fans, and hey chaps. I hope everything is going good with you, and each and everything is going well. So I just finished reading another book. It's called The Good Job Strategy from Zeynep. It's about how the smartest companies invest in employees to lower cost and boost profits. So to show you that, the front. And this is this author is an MIT Sloan School, or is from, was a student from MIT Sloan School of Management. So that's what it says there. That's interesting. So this is a good book. I read it. It has some important information in there I find very useful. So I'll just go through it, skip through it quickly, discuss some of the topics that were on here. So in the contents page, you can, this one's nice and simple, very easy and brief. Sweet topics too. It gives us an introduction. The first chapter is called An Unnecessary Sacrifice. The second chapter is called Great Operations Need Great People. The third chapter is called The Penalties of Going Cheap on Retail Labor. The fourth is called Model Retailers, Who Knew It Could Be This Good? Question mark, this or that. Then chapter 5 is Offer Less. Then we get to Standardize and Empower. Chapter 6. Chapter 7 is Cross-Train. Chapter 8 is Operate with Slack. Chapter 9, Seizing Strategic Opportunities. Chapter 10, Values and Constraints. Then we get to Acknowledgement, Notes, Index, and About the Author. Just have a look at that one more time. It's a pretty good book. I'll just go through it quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take too much time, but there's really useful information here for people who are curious and enjoy learning. And that's the author, by the way. Zeynep. So it's interesting. So in the introduction, it says the story starts out with, there are different ways to make money. I tell my MBA students on the first day of class I teach on operations for service industries. You can certainly succeed at the expense of your employees by offering bad jobs, jobs that pay low wages, provide scant benefits, and erratic work schedules, and are designed in a way that makes it hard for employees to perform well or find meaning and dignity in their work. You can even succeed at the expense of your customers, for example, by offering shoddy service, People may not enjoy buying from you, but plenty of them will do it anyway if you keep prices low enough. So that's an interesting point to begin the book. That's how it starts. Then it goes on to say, in service industries, succeeding at the expense of employees and at the expense of customers often go together. If employees can't do their work properly, they can't provide good customer service. That's why our experiences with restaurants, airlines, hotels, hospitals, call centers, and retail stores are often disappointing, frustrating, and needlessly time-consuming. Many people in the business world assume that bad jobs are necessary to keep costs down and prices low. But I give this approach a name, the Bad Job Strategy. And this book is called The Good Job Strategy. So this is the topic, to emphasize that it is not a necessity, it is a choice. So that's an interesting topic. So it's talking about the employer and employee relationship, the whole book. So we get another good point. The next topic here is The Good Job Strategy is not just a book title. It is a concrete strategy. It combines investment in people, much more investment than normal, with a set of operational decisions related to A, how many products and services a company will offer, B, the balance of job standardization and employee empowerment, C, the allocation of work among employees, and D, staffing levels, and how employees will engage in continuous improvement. I did not invent this strategy. It is not the product of academic speculation. I observed it in a group of highly successful companies, and that's where the point ends. So that's an interesting point. So let's move along our topic. So next story or topic we get here is, although the strategy I will describe has been very successful, it is neither quick nor easy. In fact, it is complex and has to be carried out carefully, continuously, and in the face of many obstacles. In return, it not only allows for better day-to-day and year-to-year performance, but it also allows companies to seize strategic opportunities by adapting to shifting circumstances more quickly than other companies can manage. So let's shift gears and let us skip along here. So we get to chapter 1, the unnecessary sacrifice, on page 1. That's the title there. So this author grew up in Turkey. They envisioned the United States as a place where anyone who worked hard could do well. For 10 years, their experience in the States showed how right she was, or they were. It says, my hard work took me from an undergraduate volleyball scholarship to a professorship in operations, a good job that paid me well and gave me a chance to feel pride in my work. When I began conducting research in retail stores, and more important, in retail stores, I was in for a shock. I began to meet people, a lot of people, who worked every bit as hard as I ever had, but were not making it, Their work life did not give them dignity nor satisfaction, much less enough money to make ends meet or enough balance to have a sane family life, They had bad jobs, The people I met through my research were not just people who were unwilling to look for a better job, or who wouldn't be able to handle one even if they got it, nor were they just high school dropouts, In fact, more than a third of working adults with bad jobs had at least some college education or have a degree, So it's an interesting point. It's just the author's discussing how your education doesn't necessarily translate into a good job or a good lifestyle. So let us skip along here and shift gears. So then she talks about someone named Janet. It says, take Janet for example. Interesting up here. And it says she had her own small video rental business, but it wasn't making enough money. In 2005, she had to close it down. Luckily, or so it seemed, she became a sales associate in the electronics section of a large retail chain. Even better, it was a full-time job. Her job included making sure everything in her section was properly shelved and priced correctly. Her starting wage was only $8.20 per hour. While Janet's managers recognized her hard work and promoted her several times, her raises were minuscule. By 2012, Janet was a customer service manager in charge of dozens of employees at the front end of the store, including cart pushers, cashiers, greeters, employees working in the money centers in which customers would cash checks, make wire transfers, and buy prepaid debit cards. She was also responsible for solving customer service issues at the checkout, such as pricing errors or credit cards that didn't go through. On top of all that, she frequently had to solve equipment problems, or at least tried it. And then in quotes we get, like the other day, she said, the money order machine went down at the money center. I had to crawl around on the floor and get on tech support from National Cash Register and sit there and tinker with the money order machine. Unplugging the cable and plugging it back in as he was directing me from the phone until I got the money order machine back up and working. Janet is a problem solver who manages dozens of employees and lots of different equipment. Yet, after all her merit-based raises, she still earns only $11.60 per hour. Supposedly, she works full-time, but in fact, she's often scheduled for fewer than 40 hours a week. So she never really knows how much money she will make. So that's someone's case study here. That's a case study on this person named Janet. So that's an interesting point. So shifting gears, let us skip along onto the next topic, see what's next. So then this is not just an Americano phenomenon. It says it's a good point. It says The Independent, a British newspaper, reported that in the United Kingdom, only 1 in 7 people working at supermarkets earned a living wage in 2012. So some of this information and data goes back to a different point in time. So the numbers and figures might look a little bit different. And it says, nor is it only a retail phenomenon. Almost a quarter of all Americano working adults between the ages of 25 and 64 have jobs that do not pay enough to support a family. You encounter these people whenever you eat out at a restaurant, stay at a hotel, pick up your children from daycare, or visit someone in a nursing home. You talk to them when you have to call about an insurance claim or discover why your internet connection went dead. And bad jobs are not going away. For many people, they are what the future holds in store. The Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that most of the occupations with the largest employment growth during the next 7 years at that time will be a low-wage occupation such as cashiers, restaurant worker, customer service representative, and daycare worker. According to the Economic Policy Institute, nearly 30% of all United States workers, citizen workers, by 2020 are expected to hold jobs that pay below poverty level wages. So, in a sense, in some areas that still holds up, but probably something that the government needs to work on. So we get to the topic, a logical trade-off, this or that. So I'm just gonna shift gears and skip along past some of these points, skip past some of these. So skip past. Then we get to a job where, here or there. This is the next topic. Then the next topic is quick trip is not alone. Then the topic, I've heard all the excuses. And then we get subtopics in some of these. So it looks like this, where it drops down to subtopic. So subtopic 1 here is excuse number 1, public companies can't do it. The next subtopic is excuse number 2, you have to be born this way. The next subtopic is excuse number 3, big companies can't do this. The next subtopic is excuse number 4, those model companies must have idiosyncratic qualities that we don't have. Then we get to the topic, the good job strategy, what the book's about. There. And it says, this is a good topic, good point. It says, the first ingredient of the good job strategy, the ingredient that most companies don't realize will make so many good things possible, is remarkably unglamorous by most people's standards. It is simply operations, all those factory-like activities that have to take place to deliver a product or service. Of course, all companies know that their operations are important, but many tend to think of operations in too limited a way. Just a matter of making things or getting things from here to there. Model retailers have much more in mind. They design and manage their operations in a way that makes their employees more productive, reduces the cost of doing business, and puts employees at the center of the company's success. The way model retailers design and manage their operations turns out to be the means by which well-paid, well-trained employees create even more wealth than they cost. And that's the end of that story, that point and topic. So it's a good topic, interesting discussion. So shifting gears, let us skip along. Then we get to chapter 2. So chapter 2 is great operations need great people. That's on page number 18. So it says the rise and subsequent stumble of Home Depot. Once one of the great success stories in retail, still is today too, is a case study in the importance of investing in people, both for customer service and for financial performance. But it is also a case study in the importance of good design and operations. Making a retail store or any service environment hum requires not only employees who are capable, motivated, and sufficient in number, but also close attention to the design of operations, what those employees do all day and how they do it. The good job strategy is a blend of investment in people and in operational design. So that's what they're talking about here. This author's one of their main points. Home Depot is a good business example too. Okay, so shifting gears, let us skip onboard. So the next topic is subtopic here is how did Home Depot do it? ? This or that. Then we get to the topic of declining performance or subtopic. Then we get to subtopic of why operations matter in service. Then we get to the subtopic of bridging discipline. Then the subtopic of cutting investment in employees. Then we get to the topic of part-time labor, and the subtopic of next is the subtopic of customer service problems or issues. Then we get to the topic of operational designs don't achieve themselves. And then we get to the subtopic of called a tale of two auto plants. That's interesting. So yeah, buds, and so that's great. Yeah. Then we have the next topic is we have seen this before. That's great. Then skipping along, let's skip along. We get to the next topic. How much do employees matter in low-cost retail? ? This or that. We get a nice little diagram here with the flow of processes. It's like something like what you've seen, like a warehouse. Alright, so it's interesting. And it just goes through the whole process if you actually have a close look at that. So that's an interesting diagram. So shifting gears, the next topic is complexity is winning. And the topic after that is the price we pay as customers. Then we get to chapter 3, the penalties of going cheap on retail labor. So here's page number 35. And I'll share the story here. It says, early in my doctoral program, I joined a group of researchers from Harvard and Wharton who were developing new algorithms to improve retail supply chains. During a conference attended by executives from more than 30 retail chains, the CEO of a large office supplies retailer expressed some frustration with our research approach. While we were busy developing better algorithms for forecasting demand and for planning inventory and assortment, customers were coming in to his stores and leaving without buying what they wanted because even though the requested items were in the store, they were in the wrong place and no one could find them. He called these instances, quote unquote, phantom stockouts. And other executives in the room said they were the same. They had the same issue. No one, however, knew how big an issue it really was. Sorry, excuse me. So that's chapter 3. That's the story that starts out there. So let us skip along. Then we get the topic, the real cost of going cheap on labor. And we get a little diagram here on page 38. It shows the relationship between profitability and the amount of labor. So you have a quick look at that. It's a pretty interesting diagram. Then we get to the next topic is what really goes wrong, and the subtopic of misplaced products and phantom stockouts. So let us skip along. That's great, yeah. And then we get the next topic is solving achievement issues with technology. And a subtopic of promoting compliance. Okay. Then data quality. Okay. Subtopic. Then shrink. Okay, that's a subtopic as well. The next topic, main topic, is the nasty cycle. Okay, great, yeah. Then we get to another diagram. Looks pretty good. Show you that. And that's showing that cycle, retail cycle. Then the next topic is why does retail go cheap on labor? Question mark, this or that. And we get the subtopic of philosophy, labor as an expense to be minimized. That's interesting. So let us skip along here. This next subtopic is performance management. That's interesting here. Performance management. Next subtopic is failure to weigh long-term harm against short-term gain. Then the next subtopic is failure to recognize any other way. Then the next topic is there is a better way. So then we get to chapter 4, model retailers. Who knew it could be this good? Question mark. This or that. And it talks about Zara in here. Let me see if I want to read this because it takes a little bit of time. Talks about Zara, but let me just, that's on page 55, but let me just skip along just to save some time here. And it goes on to the topic Mercadona. I think that's a location in and around Spain, pretty sure. Mercadona, or sorry, that's a store in Ciempozuelos, a small town south of Madrid. That's pretty interesting, but it's a lot of information in there. It's probably just shift gears and go past some of these. So going on board, the next topic is Mercadona wasn't born this way, page 58. Then we get to what's called a total quality model, TQM. And it's about continuous improvement based on 9 principles. I'll just go through it. It's a good point, so I'll just go through what it is. So number 1 is everyone is reliable. Number 2, anything that does not provide value to customers is not done. Number 3 is every company is an assembly line, or sort of. And number 4, have a scientific mind. And then number 5, do it right the first time, or properly. Number 6, everything can be improved. Number 7, the company has to prescribe. Number 8, abide by the law. Number 9, convince, don't defeat. So those are the TQM principles, 9 TQM principles in this book. So let us skip along. So shifting gears, the next topic is investing in employees that this book talks about. Then we get to the virtuous cycle of retailing. Then we get to what model retailers have in common. And then some more subtopics there. Yeah. So the subtopic, first one is value to employees. Then opportunity for success and growth. Then satisfied employees, also employers. This talks a lot about employees, but also employers. Then it talks about the topic of the payoff to customers. Then customer service. Then next is payoff to investors. Then next is what is their secret, question mark, this or that. This is a subtopic. Then we get to chapter 5, operational choice number 1, offer less. So it's interesting. And that's on page 74. Then we get to the subtopic, or the main topic, driven by more is better, quote unquote. Then the cost of offering more is the next topic. And the subtopic we get is, on that subject is, let's talk about inventory. The next subtopic is offering more means higher inventory costs. The next subtopic is more inventory doesn't always prevent stockouts. And then the next subtopic is offering more increases costs throughout the supply chain. Then it discusses high quality burgers at low prices based on one company's business model. So that's interesting. The next topic, so let us skip along, shift gears here. The next topic is more may not be more, even for the customers. And we get the subtopic of operational complexity, degrading customer service. And the subtopic of customer confusion is next. Then next, we get the main topic of model retailers offer less. So this may not be true for everyone's business model, but for this author's case studies, then that's what is true for here. And the first subtopic is Trader Joe's M- a store of stories. Then we get the subtopic of how Trader Joe's customers benefit from fewer choices, and some examples here with customer conversations. So that's like page 90, page 91. See some examples on there going through conversations. So that's interesting. Then next, so shifting gears, next topic is subtopic is less is not always more. Then we get to the main topic of offering less is not just for retailers. And the next topic is how offering less enables the good job strategy. Then we get to chapter 6, operational choice number 2, standardize and empower. So let us skip along here, save some time. That's on page 99. So first main topic is standardization. Then we get the subtopic of scientific management, standardization in services, some graphs here, bar graphs. And that is just showing the percentage of products that were in the back room not on the selling floor at the time of physical audit in 242 border stores. That's interesting at the time. Then we get the subtopic of arguments against standardization in services. And we get to the next topic is empowerment, and subtopic of why empowerment works in services. And then we get a case study on empowerment. So that's that there. It goes in depth on some case studies, some really interesting information. So shifting gears, let us skip along. Then we get to the subtopic of arguments against empowerment in services. And then we get to the topic of investment in employees and job design. We get another neat diagram here with some useful information. So that's on page 112, 112. Then we get the topic of why not standardize and empower, question mark, this or that. And the subtopic of combining standardization with empowerment at UPS. Then we get, shifting gears, we get to the topic of model retailers standardize and empower with some emails and notes, so real examples. Then the next topic discusses how Quick Trip implemented standardization without sacrificing employees' dignities. It's an interesting topic. Then the next topic discusses measuring customer service at Quick Trip and how Quick Trip empowers employees without losing control. And then it gets to the topic of hiring the right people. Then it gets to the subtopic of monitoring employees and measuring performance and providing incentives. So shifting gears, see what else is in here. Then we get to chapter 7, operational choice multi-train. So multi-train, cross-train or multi-train. Then the next topic is variability from customers and what variability means for operations. Then comprehending variability and strategies for managing variability. Then the next topic is managing arrival variability in retail. And then it discusses general strategies for managing capacity. Let me get a neat diagram here to show you what that looks like. So that's interesting. That one's showing demand versus production and the strategies and variabilities there. So shifting gears, let us skip along. we get to the topic of how retailers alter labor capacity, the subtopic of nasty cycle retailers, and then we get this just-in-time applied to the wrong context discussion with a subtopic of unintended consequences of following a chase strategy in short increments, but that's within a retail store, a retail supply chain example. Then we get the subtopic of virtuous cycle retailers. I'll just show you what it looks like and all the information there. The next subtopic is how virtuous cycle retailers manage last minute changes or shifts, and how Quick Trip manages busy summers and quiet winters. The next topic is multi-training beyond retail. The next topic is how multi-training enables the good job strategy. So shifting gears, let us skip on board. So chapter 8 is operational choice number 4, operating with Slack. That's page number 153. So shifting gears, okay, it says the next topic is how many employees are enough, question mark, this or that. Okay. Next topic is why understaffing is everywhere. Great, yeah. Next topic is why model retailers prefer too many employees to too few. Okay. Subtopic is forecasting workload, determining staff levels. And we get to the next discussion on page 164. It's a good topic. It's time plus empowerment equals opportunity for continuous improvement. So I'll show you what that looks like. That's on page 164. It's a good little formula there. It's a formula, it's easy to remember. Right there. So let us skip along. Shifting gears, it goes to listening to employees. Next topic discussed. Next topic of discussion is trust is the foundation of employee involvement. That's interesting. Then he talks about how operating with Slack enables the good job strategy. And chapter 9 is seizing strategic opportunities on page 171. So that's pretty good. So shifting gears, the next topic discussed is let me guess. You did not buy this book at Borders. Interesting. Then subtopic discusses failure to adapt to changes or shifts. Then subtopic failure to differentiate from competitors. Then next topic is seizing rather than missing opportunities. Strategic advantage number 1, the ability to adapt. That's on page 178. Then subtopic is how Frito-Lay adapted to changes or shifts in regulation. Then how model retailers adapt to shifts. The next topic is strategic advantage number 2, differentiation. That's on page 185, straight here. Yeah. So that's interesting. That comes up a lot, so you got to differentiate. You got another neat model or diagram here. So let us skip along. The next subtopic is forging relationships with customers requires inspired employees. Then it talks about the return on relationships. In chapter 10, we get to values and constraints. That's the discussion on page 191. Then the first main topic is the temptation to cheat on the good job strategy. Interesting. Okay, chaps. Then we get to universal values. Okay. Next topic is 100% commitment to values. Then it talks about values create constraints. Then it discusses explicit prioritization of stakeholders on page 199. Interesting. Yeah. So shifting gears, let us skip along. It's fine, get back to the page here. Then it discusses values-based constraints drive innovation and how values-based constraints help in difficult times. So shifting gears. Then it discusses social cost of the bad job strategy. If it's bad, if it's not a good job. Then it discusses spreading the good job strategy next. Then we get to acknowledgements on page 209. So that's acknowledgements. Some interesting stories in there. We get to the notes and references on page 213. I always enjoy when a book includes a section where it tells you and it shows you what the resources were used on here, where it refers to, like much like even Wikipedia website, and how it looks when you have to submit like a paper or something to your professor or teacher. So it goes through each topic, what was used in each chapter. So that's interesting, what the resources were. Then we get to the index with the words, main words and topics that they feel are important. So shifting gears, let us skip along. Okay, buds, and that's the author information, where they went to school and what they were about. So Zeynep is an adjunct associate professor at the MIT Sloan School of Management. Previously, she was on the faculty of Harvard Business School. She had received a number of awards for teaching excellence from both schools, and her research has been featured widely in the media, including The Atlantic, The New Yorker, The Washington Post, Bloomberg TV, and MSNBC. She lives in Cambridge, Massachusetts, but went back then, with her husband and 4 children. So that's at the time. That's interesting. So that's about the author, and then we get to the back of the book, and that's the entire book for The Good Job Strategy. So that's from Zeynep by Zeynep. How it talks about how the smartest companies invest in employees to lower costs and boost profits. So I think this is a really good book, really good read. I enjoyed this one. I think if you have some time, you should pick it up and give it a go, and let me know what you think about it. I think you'll enjoy it and find some of the information useful in here. Yeah, and I want to thank you for tuning in and for watching and spending a little bit of time with me here. I hope that you enjoyed the information here. I hope it was very useful for you. Yeah, until next time, have a good one.